What's going on? We back, Motor City Sports Talk. We in the building. Speaking on some Detroit Pistons, know we got a late start today. At least do one more video. We on like day 58 since the season ended that the Pistons been without a head coach. So we still keeping count. And it's down. The race is down to former Toronto Raptors coach Dwayne Casey and former NBA player, former San Antonio Spur, current San Antonio assistant coach. Udoka, excuse me. M.A. Udoka, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And I'm going to give you my reasons why I think M.A. Udoka, hopefully I'm saying his name right, will get this head coaching job over Dwayne Casey. It's not just because I want to see the lovely Nia Long in the stands, because that is his wife. Shout out to Nia Long, one time for the one time. But, yeah, man, we talk about, I think because the Pistons, they not really going to win right now. And whether Tom Gores knows it, Ed Stokowski, the guy that's helping Tom Gores with his GM and his coaching search, whether they know it or not, this ain't no quick turnaround, man. Dwayne Casey is 61 years old. I mean, he look young. He look real young, 60. I hope when I'm 61, I look as he do. Excuse me. But this is a rebuild, man. However they like it or not, they trying to build on the move, and they trying to act like this is with Blake and Drummond and Jackson, this is a core you can win with. Absolutely not. We all know the results. Red Auerbach, Greg Popovich, Phil Jackson can all coach this team. Be the same outcome. Trash. And from that's my first point to make for Udoka. He's a younger coach. And eventually this is going to be a long-term process. This is going to be a long-term process with getting this roster right. Dwayne Casey's 61 years old. By the time this roster get right, he going to be probably 75 years old, 70 years old. This is a long haul because, one, it's a long haul because they believe they could turn it around with this core group, which anybody with a half of the boxing mind of a regular fan knows that won't happen. This group is not a winning caliber basketball group from a depth standpoint, from a core standpoint, to a role player standpoint, to a glue guy standpoint. It's not. So I think Udoka can grow with this team no matter when the landscape changes of this team. When they figure out they got to blow it up, he'll be there to be able to change. He's younger. He's still filling out for the job. He's younger. He's more innovative. He'll have a system of his own to kind of pick off the San Antonio Popovich tree, but he'll kind of molded it in the system in how he wants it to be as well. He have his imprint on it. With Dwayne Casey, he been through it, though. He been through it with the Raptors. He built the baby Raptors up to the big Raptors and back to the LeBron baby dinosaur Raptors. You know what I'm saying? He been there, done that. I mean, I know Ed Stokowski, was an integral part and was part of the management that got Dwayne Casey to Toronto. So the chances are Dwayne Casey's going to win this job. Because Ed Stokowski, that whatever the guy's name who's running this job search for the Pistons, who's advised with Tom Gore, Dwayne Casey's his boy. He's real close. He got him a job at Toronto, and I'm pretty sure he's trying to plug him in with the Pistons. But I like Udoka. A younger team, still young, with Griffin and Drummond and Jackson, still a young core. And eventually when they figure out they got to blow that up, he's a young coach. And, he can grow with this team. He can make adjustments. He brings something new. It's nothing something recycled. This got to be a youth movement for the Pistons. This got to be an infusion of youth, a young GM, a young head coach, and eventually when Tom Gores gets some sense to sell this team to a nice young owner that know a little bit something about basketball. Dwayne Casey, this ain't a job for him. At 61 years old, and what he accomplished in Toronto, he needs to be going to a more accomplished job, like a Milwaukee or somebody that's closer. Even the Phoenix is a better position for him than this job right here. Phoenix, they got Booker, and then they end up getting DeAndre Ayton. That's perfect right there. That's a better core than we got. Somewhere like Oklahoma City for him. Somewhere like that where it's more veterans, it's more of a team to win right now. He's 61 years old, fellas. How much longer do we got, with his faculties to be able to still coach? This team ain't going to be close to turning around for like a decade again. Be 71 in a decade. Udoka is fairly young. He might be in his 40s, maybe. So I'm going with the younger coach. Eventually this will blow up. It will be a way younger team, but it's still a younger team right now. And yeah, Udoka's the guy in my opinion. I don't know much about him his system and what he brings, but obviously he got Popovich's ear, and he's been the candidate for the Bucks job and a few other jobs. He's not a candidate that fell out the sky. He's been paying his dues, man. And that's who I'm going with. He's younger. He's gonna have a more innovative mind. Hopefully they go with a younger GM. I want the Pistons to go with a youth movement and get some creative juices flowing, some new ideas from new younger coaches and new younger GMs and front office people. And then eventually they could blow this thing up and get a younger youth movement, and they could build it from the bottom on up, just like the Boston Celtics did. But a lot of people was asking me about Mark Jackson, why Mark Jackson ain't in the running. And I believe that Mark Jackson is getting blackballed out the NBA. You heard Mark Jackson interview for too many jobs, and maybe he's just happy at being on TV. Mark Jackson was a Knick. They didn't interview him for the Knicks job. I don't believe. I might be wrong. Kenny J. Smith got a couple interviews. Jerry Stackhouse got some interviews. Even Udoka got some interviews. Even Mike Budenholzer, who got a DUI and with some stuff around him, he got an interview. And I just think what went on in Golden State, where they said that he had a riff with the owners. And I think they blackballed him out the league, and then stuff started coming out about Mark Jackson, that he was treating the players with favoritism. He was keeping gossip around the locker room, and you know how it is. A whole bunch of stuff coming out about how he wasn't a professional fit for the Golden State Warriors. So they trying to blackball him out the league, and that's why you haven't heard Mark Jackson be named or be synonymous with NBA basketball coaches with coaching. They blackballed him out the league. Whatever happened in Golden State and that bad taste he left in the Golden State Warriors management mouth, they basically made him untouchable in the league, and he probably never see another coaching job, in the league again. Because there's no way that he shouldn't have interviewed or got the Knicks job. There's no way he shouldn't have interviewed and got a few other jobs. The Milwaukee Bucks job, that was open. The Phoenix Suns job, I believe, was open. The Memphis Grizzlies job was open, but they ended up giving it to Bickerstaff, the younger Bickerstaff son. So whatever Mark Jackson done, which you probably can look it up and hear some of the rumors exactly, which I can't exactly get into on YouTube, because it kind of makes you angry. But it's nothing that he did. It's just he say, she say stuff, man. They really marked him as a marked man and not to be coach and be a coach again in the league. They were saying that he was treating certain players with favoritism, and certain players didn't like how he was treating Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and this and that. And then his riff with the management, man, whatever that was about, they didn't want him there. And they brought in Steve Kerr. He nurtured that young bunch. He groomed that young bunch. And then by the time it was time for them to blow up, they kicked him out, and Steve Kerr reaped the benefits. Not saying that Steve Kerr didn't put his own imprint on the team, because he did. A little bit more ball movement, this and that. But Mark Jackson was seen as a rising coach. He took a young core. Remember, there wasn't no Kevin Durant on that team. He took a young core, and he had them on the cusp of winning the championship, which they did go over and win it the next year or two after he left. And I know it hurts him every time to see that team playing up the floor, run up the floor when he called in the games, and see them scoring baskets and winning how they win, and saying, dang, I should have been the head coach of that team. And maybe from that standpoint, he's just comfortable at color commentary, because he don't talk about it much. You don't hear his name really, synonymous with head coaching vacancies the last 2 years. Might have heard it a little bit last year, but he didn't get it. And we've seen a whole bunch of coaches that's way less qualified than Mark Jackson get opportunities. So I want to speak on that as well, too. But yeah, I'm riding with Udoka. I'm riding with the youth movement. The Pistons need a youth movement. We don't need no more grandpas, man. No offense to Dwayne Casey, man. But and it ain't just because I want to see Nia Long in the stands, neither. You know what I'm saying? Her around Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of beautiful women in Detroit as it is. But, I like Udoka. I like the youth movement. Let me know what y'all think. Udoka, Dwayne Casey, who you riding with for the Pistons head coach. We're going to come back with some more heat later, and hopefully they might announce a head coach pretty soon. Tom Gore's in L.A. doing them interviews and meeting with them coaches. Probably coming down to numbers.